Former SARS Commissioner Moyane is taking his fight for his job to the North Gauteng High Court. This is after the Constitutional Court dismissed his application. Moyane approaching the court to review and set aside the establishment of the Nugent Commission of Inquiry looking into governance issues at the revenue collector. President Cyril Ramaphosa fired Moyane as recommended in the Commission's interim report. Now, Heidi Giokos was in the North Gauteng High Court today where Moyane took the fight for his job. Heidi, what argument has Moyane put on the court record as reasons why the Nugent Commission inquiry should be dismantled?
So basically what Moyane is saying is that he feels as though the whole process was unlawful and illogical. I mean, those were his words. He's saying that the terms of reference of the Nugent Commission should not look at employment issues of specific individuals, but rather look at what was happening at the Revenue Service, as a whole, not specifically at how Moyane was when he was the Commissioner of SARS. And they're basically saying that they feel as though the President acted on the recommendations of the SARS Commission, of this Nugent Commission headed up by Judge Robert Nugent, without any court deciding on whether or not it was implemented lawfully, it was structured lawfully, and whether or not they stuck to the terms of reference.
So given the kind of arguments that his legal team made in court today, is he still sticking with the perspective that says that he feels this was a commission set up to specifically target individuals such as him?
So he feels as though this commission did not focus on the terms of reference and rather had an alternative, an ulterior motive. And I mean, this is what is in his affidavit. I was actually reading over it this morning before court started, and they use words such as there was an ulterior motive to get Moyane out. There was an ulterior motive to not hear his part of the story. And that is why they're arguing this, and they are basically saying that they want this Commission of Inquiry into Tax Administration and Governance at SARS to be re-looked at and to figure out whether it was lawfully implemented and whether or not the judge literally stuck to the terms of reference, because they believe as though it was literally just an attack on Moyane and specific individuals, that being Moyane and his time at the Revenue Service.
Advocate Wim Trengove also receiving quite a bit of attention, and issues around whether or not he is rational or unbiased enough to be part of these proceedings also brought up.
So today, the first 2 or 3 hours in court was spent on whether or not Advocate Trengove should be representing Judge Nugent, and they felt as though Moyane's legal team and his advocate Dalian Pofu basically arguing that Trengove, there's a bit of conflict of interest. They use the words a three-way conflict of interest because Trengove has advised the President on other issues previously. He's also advised Moyane when he was the Commissioner on specific issues, and he's also advised for Judge Robert Nugent, and they feel as though there was some sort of conflict of interest because now he's coming to represent Judge Robert Nugent, somebody that Moyane is actually fighting against. The judge, however, completely dismissing this and refusing his removal, and then obviously the proceedings of the day continued given the fact that Trengove continued to be the advocates representing Judge Nugent.
All right, and they've wrapped up their arguments. When are we expecting judgment?
So judgment will probably be around the 14th of December. And I must just add that the President had given Judge Nugent and his panel an extension of 2 weeks to hand in the final report. It was supposed to be handed in by the end of November, and the President had given them until the 14th. And that was basically because they wanted the court to rule on whatever the court decides on in terms of Moyane's application. We've heard from Judge Nugent's team that the report is in fact ready. They're just waiting for the application to be heard in the High Court. So we'll obviously just have to wait until the 14th to hear what is in that final report.
All right, Heidi, thanks for bringing us that story. Heidi Giokos, she was out at the North Gauteng High Court for us.